Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna I'm gonna make a video that's honestly been kind of bothering me, like a lot. So I'm just gonna talk about it. And this is Hitokiri. This is currently mine. I don't really have like amazing loadouts for Hito. But regardless, we're gonna use Yato, which is the male Hitokiri. Sakura being the female, for those of you who do not know. Anyways, we're going to training grounds because I want to talk about something with the new patch that came out and how it has royally like destroyed how you play certain operators. Fuck, this isn't Siege. But how you play For Honor. Now, I'm just gonna show you this bullshit. Hito has never been, well, I don't want to say it's never been overpowered, but definitely was never like crazy strong, except when she first came out, or when they first came out. Because let me explain the issue here. Hito, when Hito first came out, Hito had hyper armor on literally everything. Why are you still following me? You're supposed to. Okay, whatever. Hito had hyper armor on literally all of her attacks and did ridiculous amounts of damage. And now, that's not the case. And also, Hito's feats were pretty kind of, I wouldn't say they were broken, but they were extremely good. I'll put it that way. Now Hito is pretty fucking garbage. I'm gonna be honest with you. Damn near unplayable. So I'm gonna go over the basic combos you can do with Hito, and I'm gonna explain why Hito needs a buff. So first combo, simple. We're gonna do a light. That's a double light. The first light is your opener. And I don't want to fucking... Stop following me, you piece of shit. Goddamn. So, you can do the opener light from any direction, and it always require the same amount of stamina, which will be 12, and it'll always do 12 damage. Then you have your finisher light, which does 14 damage, and also requires 12 stamina. Now, the thing with the finisher light is it gives you hyper armor. And it'll do 14 damage and give you hyper armor on any direction, regardless of where the attack comes from. So, with that out of the way, let's get on to the other part of her kit, is light heavy. Now, we went over the lights, and so you know the stamina and the damage there. But now we have heavies. Hito's heavies require the same amount of stamina as the lights, and I'll explain why that's kind of absurd, but kind of I'm kind of okay with it because just how weak the rest of the kit is. 28 damage for a heavy. That might be one of the weakest heavies in the game, honestly. I know PK, her dodge heavy now, her like left and right dodge heavies only do 5 damage, which that is literally the weakest heavy in the game, hands down, undebatable. But this might be second, honestly. The fact that this is your primary form of damage with Hito is only 28 damage is kind of ridiculous. Now, the reason people said Hito was broken was because, keep in mind, you used to get hyper armor on literally all of these attacks. And when you have a infinite heavy combo that did like 30, I believe it was 30 damage, which each bar of health is 25 points. Hito currently only has 135 health, which is okay. It's not the best considering the fact that Hito is a heavy, but it is more than most other characters. But I mean, when you get into something like how Lawbringer used to be. I mean, I think Lawbringer still has the most amount of health in the game if you're not running like tough as nails on someone like Warlord, which, you know, gives you like an extra bar of health, and I think Warlord already had, you know, 5.5 bars anyhow, so yeah, that was kind of absurd. But it doesn't really matter, it's Warlord. Warlord's kind of weak anyhow. I mean, he's definitely stronger than Hito, but that's not really an accomplishment considering Hito's ridiculously weak. So yeah, the heavies, 28 damage, 12 stamina. Well, you lose 12 stamina. Now, here's the issue with this heavy. So like I said, each bar of health is 25 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hits to kill that warden. This warden had no shield. This warden had no defense buff. Now imagine this warden had either of those two things. You're looking at about 6 to 7 hits from these heavies, and depending on how much shield you have, that could be even 10 to 12 heavies. That is absurd. From a character who used to be considered broken to doing literally chip damage, which is pretty much what all this character can do now, considering the heavies are slow. These are like some of the slowest heavies in the game. I mean, they're not the slowest, but as far as your main source of damage, this is slow. You're going to get blocked and you're going to get parried. Now the lights, on the other hand, they're okay. They're not super crazy fast, but the finisher light is definitely the faster of the two. It used to be a lot faster than that, and it actually used to do, I think, 18 or 20 damage, something like that. So yeah, they nerfed that one hard. They still kept the hyper armor on it, which is good. It's probably the only thing that's useful about it. And so I showed you the heavies. Now let me show you the next part of Hito's kit, which is the charged heavy. 38 damage, and you lose 25 stamina. 25 stamina in comparison to 12. If you were to just do 2 regular heavies, you would not only do more damage and about the same amount of time, you'd also lose less stamina. I mean, it's 1 point, but I mean, it's just for reference. This is how weak the fucking charge heavy is now. And you don't get hyper armor until the foot is at the peak, like as high as it can reach in the air. And that's when your hyper armor on this attack activates. That is a long time. You will get lighted out of this, or even depending on how quick the heavy is, you will get heavied out or zoned. Hell, you might even get guard broken because it is that slow for the hyper armor to activate. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. You only save yourself 1 attack. Wow, this is ridiculous. I really have no words. Because, okay, so let's do the math. So, if the light combo is 12 and 14 damage, that would be 26 damage in total, right? You have 2 10s, and then 2 plus 4 is 6. So yeah, 26 damage. That's okay. I mean, they're meant to be, you know, quick damage. That's a little bit more than a bar. It's literally 1 point more than a full bar of health. Then you have the heavies that take 3 points more than a regular bar, and they require the same amount of stamina as 1 light. So 1 heavy equals basically 2 lights. Actually, it actually equals a bit more than that. And you're taking about the same amount of time as like the full like heavy animation. It might even be slower, or no, it might actually be quicker. My bad. So yeah, there's that. What else does Hitokiri have in her kit? Well, you have the zone. Now you gotta understand, zones are probably the coolest feature about most characters. Their zone is really cool. Hitokiri's zone is relative to Warden's and Orochi's. And I guess you could kind of compare him to Zanhu, now that Zanhu is in the game. That's kind of how their zone works. They're meant to be really fast, basically kind of unreactable. You know, you kind of just throw it out to throw your opponent off. But here's the issue. When your zone doesn't function with the rest of your kit, like I'm trying to do a zone from a light, does not work. Just go straight into heavy. Trying to do a zone after a heavy, just goes to do another heavy. Try to do a zone after a charged heavy, can't do it because you have that refresh time. Can't do it. So the only two ways you can do a zone is from out of guard or in guard, and the attack always comes from the left, or you know, your player's right, or you know, the person you're attacking would be the right guard, but from yours it's your left guard. And how much damage does it do? It's got to do a fuck ton of damage, right? I mean, it's the zone. It's really cool. I mean, this is like, you can't do it in, you can't add this to your combo because it's a single lone wolf attack. So how much damage does it do? 14. Your opener light does 2 less damage. Your finisher light does the same amount. And how much stamina do you lose using the zone? 60. Why would you ever use the zone? I really don't know. It doesn't give you hyper armor. Sure, it's fast, and it's, I mean, it can be kind of useful depending on the situation, but you'd be better off just throwing out a heavy or a light, because it's a useless attack. It doesn't, you can't chain it into a combo. Like it's literally a lone wolf attack. You can't chain it into anything, and you can't finish it. Now, the issue with this is, why would you ever use it? I don't know. I don't know why the developers needed to nerf this. That's the thing. So what else can you do with Hito? Well, you have the kick. If my cat would stop making noises. Anyways, you have the kick. The kick can be followed up after a light or a heavy, as I just showed. I'm just gonna kill you real quick. Then you also have the sweep, which is basically the same thing as the kick, except you charge it. Now what makes the sweep cool is that apparently it takes fucking forever. So, I mean, I guess you could kind of throw your enemies off with timing, and I just fucked it up somehow. But you also get hyper armor on it. Yes, you get hyper armor on an attack that doesn't do any damage. Fantastic, right? What can you do with the sweep? Well, I don't know why I guard broke you. Well, let's see. You get a free light. What else can you get? Just a free light. If his guard was, you know what, just to show my point, I'm gonna do a block. It's not guaranteed. The only thing you get off of this sweep is a fucking light. That is ridiculous. What do you get off of the kick? You get a guaranteed heavy. Why is that important? Because this is literally the meta. Well, that's not the meta. I fucked it up. The meta to do with Hito is literally this combo right here. Light, kick, heavy, and then you repeat. Light, kick, heavy. And then you can finish it off with a light, get some extra damage in there. But that's pretty much it. That's Hito's kit. You're doing 26 damage plus an extra 28. That's 40, then plus 6 plus 4 is 14. So 54 damage in total. Almost 55. We'll round it up to 55. You're only doing essentially 4 points more than 2 bars of health in that combo. That is a weak combo. Extremely weak. But you know, Hito's still apparently overpowered somehow. I don't know how, but that's what people seem to think. Now, I'll get on to my point of why I think Hito needs a buff. Well, I just cased in point everything. I mean, I literally just wrote down all the, well, I didn't write it down, but I just showed you all the fucking facts as to why Hito is fucking garbage. Only 3 of your attacks get hyper armor, which is your light finisher, your charged heavy, and the sweep. Those are the 3 attacks you get hyper armor on. This coming from a character who literally everything you used to get except your, I think your opener light, had hyper armor on it. So this character legitimately lost like 80 to 70% of their hyper armor. And then the damage reduction is like ridiculous. I mean, on pretty much all their attacks, they lost like 30% damage. And then everything got slowed down. It's nowhere near as fast as it used to be. Hito is probably the weakest of the samurai. And I'm aware that Shinobi exists. Shinobi's more playable than Hito is. Hito is fucking garbage now. You went from a S tier character to barely a D. No, not even a D. We're looking more like a fucking F. This character's not even playable. If you got into like a 3v1 or a 4v1, you will lose. If you got into a 2v1, you might lose because your damage output isn't high enough and you're not able to trade. And the only way you can even win that fight is if you dodge attacks, so that way you can keep your, your attacks up, and then you're going to have to get like cheap little lights in. That's pretty much it. That's how you're going to have to win that fight. One-on-one, Hito will still might lose because you're focusing on just one person, and Hito's heavies are really slow, easy to block, easy to parry, easy to deflect. The lights might be considered complicated. The opener light's honestly really slow. However, the finisher light, now that one's pretty fast, I will admit. Finisher light is still decently fast. It used to be a lot faster, like I said. But that's it. If you try to throw out a top heavy, if you try to throw out a charged heavy, you're going to get parried. Unless the person doesn't know the timing. Now, why is the charge heavy even in the game if you're never going to land it? So you can do that. It is literally only so you can hard feint to get a guard break. Oh, and I think I forgot to mention that this character has no soft feints. You can't take this and turn it into a sweep. You can't take this and turn it into a kick. So, yeah, you have a useless attack that you will almost never land unless you were lucky enough to run someone out of stamina. Like, I don't even think from a wall splat you could get this. I don't know the optimal range that you'd have to throw them so you'd have enough time to land that charged hit. Oh, and by the way, let me just finish you off real quick. And I plucked it. So yeah, let me show you this. So the regular heavy, 28. Charged heavy, 38. You're literally... The 10 damage difference isn't high enough to make this attack viable. Honestly. It's just not. And on top of that, what I would really do to start buffing Hito, give her superior lights, or give them superior lights. Because, I mean, if you block it, you're just going to get bounced. Even your finisher light, that could give you hyper armor, it's going to get bounced. So, I would start with that. I would make it so that your zone can flow through any of your combos. Like you can finish you know, each of your combos off of the zone, or you can open up with the zone into a light or a heavy or even a charge attack. You should also be able to soft feint the zone into a kick or a sweep. And that right there might help to give Hito a bigger kit, but at the end of the day, it's not going to get rid of the biggest issue. The biggest issue is Hito doesn't do enough damage, and on top of that, doesn't have enough hyper armor. This was a character who was designed to be able to trade. This was a character who was designed to be able to take a hit and hit you harder, essentially. Hito is meant to get hit and then hit you and do more damage. That is how Hito is designed to be played. Now, you can't play this character like that anymore. You took a character who was legitimately designed for that reason, and you can't even do that. Also, another cool feature I think they should add for Hito is after a parry, you should be able to get a free kick. Or, not that it's guaranteed, but you should be able to also get a sweep. However, if they dodge back, you know, it'll dodge a sweep. But, I mean, you have to be aware of it coming, obviously. The sweep has a weird animation, but, yeah. I mean, you should be able to dodge back and dodge a sweep. But I think that would be a good start. If you're playing this character in team comp, the best thing you can run for feats is literally any feat you want, as long as you have heal on block, because you're going to be doing a lot of blocking with this character, because you have no real form of defense. Because keep in mind, this was a character who was meant to trade attacks, and that you can't really do that anymore. You're going to have to play defensively pretty much the entire time. So that's the issue with Hito. Now, the nerfs that Hito should have gotten instead of what Hito got was a damage reduction. Should have kept all the fucking hyper armor, except for on the well, I mean, I don't think she had hyper armor in the light open anyways, but I wouldn't put hyper armor on that. That would be the one thing that I take hyper armor off of. If she did have it, I can't remember. It was like over a year ago now. Get rid of hyper armor on the open light. Have hyper armor on literally everything else except the kick, because the kick kind of just comes out so fast. I don't think you need hyper armor on it anyways. And then just reduce the damage. And that probably would have made Hito balanced, honestly. But no, now we have this useless character who no one wants to play because they're too weak. There's not enough in their kit to make them fun. I mean, you're literally just spamming the same, like, 2 attacks over and over again. I mean, if you're fighting bots, I mean, you're literally just going to have to spam this. And if you're fighting players, you're literally going to be doing this combo the entire time. That's literally the meta combo for fighting players with Hito. Doing anything else is not worth it, because either you're going to lose too much stamina or you're not doing enough damage. So, thank you for watching my TED Talk, and yeah, love Hito. Hey, it's Future McGager here, guys, and I forgot to add in a attack that I kind of just, like I said, I just kind of forgot to do. So, like, the running heavy is always going to come from the left guard, and I really wish that, you know, Warden wasn't holding his guard up. Hold on, let me just fix that real quick. Change, don't know. Opponent. Hey! Stop that shit. Sorry, my cat was like trying to claw up my rug or some shit. No, I don't want that, you fuck. Arena settings. God damn it, cats. Oh my god. Fuck me. Oh my god, stop blocking from that guard, please. There you go. 24 damage for 12 stamina. So it's less damage than a normal heavy. And then I also forgot to show you this. Which is that. 12 stamina loss for 30 damage. Now, this is technically the second highest damage attack in the game. The normal damage heavies are 28, remember? So this, being 30 damage, is technically a lot more useful. However, the timing on it is clearly, you know, it's clearly like a bit longer than a normal heavy. And I wouldn't ever use that unless you're trying to close a gap, and even then it's very telegraphed because, I mean, look at this. Like, that is such a long time to throw out a fucking attack. And the worst thing is you can't feint it, and you don't get hyper armor on it. So, yeah, there's that. So, the more you know, kiddos. But everything I said from before stands. I think that all those changes that I came up with earlier, I think need to be in the game. I also think you should be able to do something without having to, like, you know, to do your kicks or your sweeps. You should be able to do it without having to throw out an attack. Like, I think you should be able to do, like, if you just hold your guard break button, that you should be able to do the sweep, period. Because the thing is, the way the sweep is right now, you can't get any free attacks off of it. Like, well, the only thing you can get off for free is a light. And it's a single light. That's the only thing that's guaranteed. So, yeah. But, just to end this video out with, you know, a pair of fresh eyes. Still, the combos you will be doing is light, kick, heavy, finisher light. That'll be your max damage combo because it's the most guaranteed one. The heavy might get blocked, which is fine because, you know, you can keep throwing out attacks even if it gets blocked because it is a heavy. It's not a light. It doesn't just bounce off. So that's good. So you can still throw that finisher light out even if it gets blocked. See? So, and plus, even if it gets blocked, you still got that 6 damage on there, which is good. I mean, you know, it's no fucking 28 damage, but at the very, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's damaged nonetheless. But yeah, please unnerf Hito because Hito is unbearable to play. If you take Hito into a game of Breach, you are going to want to kill yourself. If you play anything that's team comp with Hito, you're going to look like an asshole because you could play literally any other character in the game and be better. So, yeah. Also, a cool thing I think would be a cool feature for Hito, because of just the way it would work, is that if Hito could dodge with a zone, like you could dodge into a zone, I think that would be cool. And like depending on the direction you dodge, it's going to be the direction of the zone where it comes out. Now the forward direction, it wouldn't be the zone. I don't really know what you would do here. I think making it a light would be kind of weird because the animation would just be, it would just be a faster opener light is what that would be. So I don't think that would look too good. And I mean, you already got a dodge forward heavy, which is that. But all in all, this is not, the dodge forward heavy, which only does 30 damage, and like I said earlier, 28 damage, not really much of a difference there, only 2 points. Should you use it? You can. However, don't expect it to be guaranteed, because I mean, sure, the range on it might be good. Like, That's some ridiculous range. I'm not even gonna lie. They were like, what, the dead center of the fucking emblem? And we like ended up like right here. So yeah, we just, you know, we apparently have like a 16-foot fucking hop apparently. But yeah, you will pretty much never use this for anything. Unless you're like trying to help out a teammate who's getting ganked or whatever. You know, you come, well, I fucked it up that bad too. You know, you just coming up behind someone and you get that off and then you just go into your combos. So, yeah, that's pretty much all you're going to be able to do. Also, you can't chain this in anything. So that's sad. Because, again, this is just like I was talking about with the zone earlier, and you can't chain the zone into anything. And you can't change the charge heavy into anything. I mean, to be fair, the only difference with the charge heavy is that you can actually do it at any point of your combo, but it'll always be the finisher of the combo. You can't start that off or make that the middle part of your combo. That's going to have to be the very end. But yeah, this is just another lone wolf attack. It's just meant for free damage on, you know, a player who's not looking. So, make advantage of it. But other than that, yeah, this is a useless fucking attack. But yeah, I just wanted to add that in, just in case I got fucking, you know, spammed with, what about the dodge heavy? I'm like, well, it's kind of shit. So, there really wasn't even a point of me adding it, but, there you go, guys. That's it. That's everything you need to know about Hito and why this fucking character is useless now. So, thanks Ubisoft. Unnerf Hito, please. Bye. Again.